The story begins by showing a dense jungle where a man was running frantically, hoping to find a way out. But the jungle was so thick that there seemed to be no path to escape. The man kept moving forward, following the sun. However, the sun was slowly setting. Yet, the man did not stop running. At one point during his escape, he reached a board that read, "Point of no return," along with the number 108. Seeing this, he became even more distressed. The darkness deepened, and a strange terror spread throughout the jungle. Suddenly, all the birds flew away. Despite traveling for miles, the man hadn't seen a single wild animal in the entire forest. He wondered what it was that even the wild animals feared. Frightened, he started running even faster. But after several hours of travel, the man suddenly stopped, and his face sank in despair, because he was facing the same point of no return signboard with the number 108. Now the man understood that no matter how much he ran, he couldn't leave this jungle. So he started looking for a place to hide. But he couldn't find a safe spot, so he climbed up a tree. Just then, the tree branch broke, and the man fell from a great height onto the ground. He was severely injured and had deep cuts. Before he could pass out, the ground suddenly started shaking, and strange growling sounds could be heard. Hearing those sounds, the man's breath caught in his throat. Suddenly, someone dragged him away. Who pulled him was not shown, but we could hear the man's painful screams. The arrival of Mina 6 days after this incident, we are introduced to a girl named Mina in the city, who works at a bird shop. Her boss comes and orders Mina to deliver a golden parrot to a zoo far away from the city. Mina agrees to the boss's request and sets out to deliver the parrot. She sits in the car, sets the zoo's location on her mobile, and starts her journey. As she leaves the city, she sees a board with photos of many missing people. However, Mina doesn't pay much attention and continues driving. Taking a shortcut, Mina drives through the jungle to quickly deliver the parrot to the zoo. She reaches the heart of the jungle, the same place where we saw the man disappear earlier. Mina finds herself in a terrible predicament. She checks her mobile map, but there are no mobile signals, and her car radio also stops working. Mina tries to turn back, but she cannot figure out the way out. After a while, her car breaks down too. Mina steps out of the car and sees the same point of no return signboard. Confused, she takes the parrot's cage and walks forward to look for help. But there was no sign of any help nearby. She then returns to the spot where she parked her car, but her car has vanished. She gets very upset. She thinks maybe she didn't come back to the exact spot where she parked the car, but to another identical spot, as every point in this jungle looked the same. The darkness was deepening again. Just like before, all the birds flew away from the trees. Mina started to feel scared as the ground was shaking strongly. She sensed someone was nearby. Suddenly, Mina saw a shadow in the distance. She ran after it but found no one there. Suddenly, Mina saw an old woman running away. Mina ran after her, calling for help, but the woman kept running fast without stopping. Mina chased the old woman once more. Suddenly, the old woman disappeared again. As Mina searched further, she saw a large room deep in the forest. The old woman opened the door of the room and said to Mina, "If you want to stay alive, come inside quickly." Hearing this, Mina ran towards the room without thinking. As Mina entered, the woman locked the gate, the safe house, and the watchers. Mina sees that it is a strange room with a large mirror installed. There were two other people with the old woman. Frightened, Mina asks them, "What is this place?" The old woman replies that they call this place the Cobb. "My name is Madeline," she says. "This girl is Kiara, and this boy is Daniel." Madeline tells Mina that there is no time for talking. "Quickly stand with us in front of the mirror because someone is coming to see us." Mina asks, "Who is coming to see us?" But the old woman doesn't answer. Strange noises suddenly start coming from outside. Mina, terrified, asks what the sounds are. Kiara tells Mina, We call them watchers. They are watching us from the other side of the mirror, but we cannot see them. They come every night after sunset and keep watching us until the morning sun rises. Then, a noise starts coming from the other side of the mirror. The old woman explains that the watchers are happy to see Mina and are clapping for her. Mina was thoroughly confused and wanted to get out of there as soon as possible. Mina, nor anyone else, had seen the watchers Madeline was talking about. The night passes. In the morning, they leave the place. Madeline explains that the watchers only come out at night. During the day, we can roam freely in the jungle. Mina had spent the whole night thinking about when morning would arrive so she could quickly leave the jungle. So, she immediately started looking for a way out. Madeline forbade the others from stopping her, as if she knew Mina could not leave the jungle and would surely return. As Mina leaves, Madeline warns her, "Your decision is not good. There is no way out of this jungle. We have to return to this house before nightfall. If you are late, you will lose your life." Mina ignores everyone and rushes forward with her parrot. After walking a little further, she sees the same "point of no return" sign. She gets scared but doesn't lose hope and keeps walking in the direction of the sun. But she fails to get out of the jungle. The path ends ahead. Mina sees that she is standing on top of a mountain, and as far as she can see, there is nothing but jungle. Disappointed, she sits down. Suddenly, someone puts a hand on her shoulder. She gets scared, and when she turns around, it is the old woman, Madeline. Madeline encourages her and says, "You are not the only one who tried to escape and failed. We are also here because we failed like you. There is no way out. Come, let me show you something." Madeline takes Mina towards the jungle. Madeline tells Mina, "This jungle is a predator, and we are all its prey. If you want to survive, stay with us." Madeline shows her many point-of-no-return signboards that were placed in a circle all around the jungle, and their room was in the middle of it. Madeline explains that they are placed half a day's distance from their house. If you go further than this, it will be difficult to return. So, never ignore them if you see them. Mina asks, "Who made all this?" She replies, "A professor made it, but no one has seen him yet." The rules and the broken trust night falls. They all return inside the house. Every night, the watchers would come to see them. Tonight, Kiara dances in front of them and says, "They like all this." It wasn't that these four had to stand in front of the watchers every night. They could do whatever they wanted. However, they could not turn their back on them. If they did, the watchers would get very angry. At night, they only had the problem of the watchers. But they also faced many difficulties during the day. They had to hunt for something in the jungle every day to fill their stomachs, which was how they survived. The next day, Kiara and Mina go hunting in the jungle. Mina asks Kiara, "What do these watchers want?" Kiara replies, "I don't know much either. But Madeline says that these watchers see us and observe us. But if we see the watchers, we will go mad because they look very horrifying." Kiara now shows her a pit and says, "There are many such pits in this jungle. During the day, all the watchers stay in those pits, and at night, they come out. They cannot come out during the day because the sunlight burns their skin." Kiara tells Mina that she came to this jungle 5 months ago with her husband, and they have been trapped here ever since. "But 6 days ago, my husband went out to find a way out of the jungle. I hope he will surely return and take all of us out of here safely." Here, we learn that Kiara's husband was actually the man we saw at the start of the movie, who was dragged away and is now dead. Talking like this, they both return to the room. Here, Madeline explains 3 rules to Mina for survival. She will not open the door of the house at night. She will not turn her back to the mirror at night. She will not go near those pits during the day and will stay in the light as much as possible. As long as you follow these rules, You will survive. But Mina does not trust Madeline's words at all. That night, Mina wants to know about these watchers. So, she puts her ear against the mirror and tries to listen to the sounds. When she hears nothing, Mina starts thinking that Madeline's stories about the watchers are fake. So, breaking the rules, she turns her back to the mirror and goes to sleep. This action makes the watchers angry. They start hitting the mirror loudly. The noise wakes Madeline up, and she quickly asks Mina to stand facing the mirror. Only then does the watchers' anger subside. This means that when humans show their backs to the watchers, they consider it an insult. The experiment and the discovery. This night also passes. And the next day, Mina goes hunting with Daniel. She asks Daniel, "Have you ever seen a watcher?" Daniel replies, "I haven't seen a watcher either, and whoever sees a watcher doesn't survive." Then Mina explains to Daniel, "I think these are all stories made up by Madeline to trap us. We should definitely check those pits. Maybe we can find a way out of here." Daniel was also fed up with staying here and wanted to escape the jungle by finding a way out. So he agrees with Mina, and they both reach the pit. Now Mina ties herself with a rope and descends into the pit. Daniel held the other end of the rope so he could quickly pull Mina out if anything happened. Mina reaches the bottom of the pit, where she finds a lot of human belongings. Mina gathers the items. All this stuff belonged to the people who had fallen prey to the watchers in the jungle. Daniel pulls out a camera, a bicycle, and all the necessary items using the rope. Mina waits below for Daniel to throw the rope down so she can go up. Before Mina could get out of the pit, she hears some movement inside the pit. Mina quickly calls out to Daniel to throw the rope down. But then, a watcher's hand starts reaching out to grab Mina. However, Mina was standing in the sunlight. So, when the sunlight fell on the watcher's hand, it started to burn. In the meantime, Daniel threw the rope down to Mina, and Mina quickly climbed out. Mina was utterly terrified. They brought all the stuff back to their safe house. Madeline asks her, "Where did you get this stuff?" They lie and say they found it in the jungle. Madeline had lived in this jungle for a long time. She knew that this stuff must have come from a pit, not the jungle. She asks Mina, "Tell me, what did you see inside the pit?" But Mina doesn't tell her anything. They were very happy that they would be able to see the watchers tonight, because Mina had found a camera in the pit. Daniel manages to connect the camera to the TV somehow so that they, too, can see the watchers on TV. Madeline repeatedly warns them that they are doing something wrong, but they don't listen to her. Tonight, they were waiting for the watchers so they could see them. But even late at night, no watcher came to see them, and soon something strange was about to happen to them. They were engrossed in conversation when suddenly their door was knocked. They quickly looked at the TV where they could see human legs. The person outside was speaking in Kiara's husband's voice and asking them to open the door quickly. Kiara thought that her husband must have found a way out. She quickly gets up to open the door, but Madeline intervenes and stops her. She says, "I know your husband is not outside," because Madeline knew that no human could reach this room in the dark of night. But Kiara doesn't believe Madeline's words and tries to open the door. After this, Madeline tells Kiara, "He is trapping you. Test him. Ask him something that only you or your husband would know." Kiara asks the person standing outside a question about a book he should have known about. But when the person standing outside doesn't answer, they realize it is a watcher. When they don't open the door, the watcher breaks the camera they had installed outside. Here, we learn that watchers can also change themselves into the form of a human. The watchers were very angry at their actions. They started hitting the mirror very hard, causing a big crack in the glass. But here, Madeline wisely makes everyone stand in line towards the mirror. This calms the watchers' anger somewhat, and they leave. Now, Mina tells Madeline, "We stole all this stuff from the pit." Hearing this, Madeline gets very angry, saying, "You broke the second rule too." The next morning, Madeline takes all the stuff brought from the pit and throws it back into the same pit. This calms the watchers' anger a little. But now, they started seeing very strange things in the jungle, and it affected Daniel the most. Daniel suddenly starts getting very angry over small things. On the other hand, Kiara, who had previously hoped that her husband was alive and would come here to save her, now knew that her husband would not return. Because of this, she was completely broken inside, and she decides to jump into the Watcher's pits to take her own life, because she had no reason left to live. She is about to do so when Mina arrives and saves her. The final reveal and escape. In the meantime, we see that Daniel is looking strangely at Madeline, and he angrily ties Madeline to a tree. Daniel says, "Now I will not follow this old woman's rules. Only my word will be followed here." It was about to be night, so Daniel ran towards the room, and Kiara also ran after him. But Mina came to Madeline and started untying her ropes. On the other side, Daniel locked the room door from the inside with Kiara and left Mina and Madeline outside for the Watchers. Mina and Madeline begged Daniel to open the door. They requested him to please open the door, but Daniel did not open the door. Now, darkness spread all around outside, and it was time for the Watchers to arrive. So, out of compulsion, they had to hide under a dense tree to save their lives. After a while, they started hearing the growling sounds of the Watchers. At this time, we, along with Mina and Madeline, are shown a glimpse of those Watchers. They were tall, thin, and dangerous. They all came out of their pits and reached the safe room to see the humans, and when they saw that Mina and Madeline were not there, they became enraged and started searching the jungle to eat them. When the Watchers went far away, taking advantage of the opportunity, both of them reached the safe room again and cried and asked Daniel to open the door. This time, Daniel's heart softened, and he opened the door for them. After going inside, Madeline first gets angry at Daniel and then makes everyone stand in front of the mirror and tells them some truths about the Watchers. Madeline says, "We have broken many rules now, so I don't think the Watchers will forgive us this time. I want to tell you some truth about the Watchers. Actually, when I first came here, I saw something that blew my mind. I saw a duplicate of myself. In reality, it was a Watcher trying to take my form, although its eyes and hair were not perfect." Mina asks, "What exactly are these Watchers?" Madeline replies that all these creatures are fairies, who once lived alongside humans. Fairies were magical beings with wings. But as time passed, humans became afraid of the fairies' powers. So humans decided to eliminate the fairies. The number of humans was greater. So the fairies could not compete with the humans. Humans trapped these fairies inside a very large pit in the jungle and cursed them to be confined in this pit forever. After that, the fairies remained imprisoned in that pit for hundreds of years. But then, with time, they dug and made ways to get out from underground. Today, those same fairies come out of the pits as Watchers and appear before us. However, due to living underground for hundreds of years, they lost their wings and magical powers, and the sunlight started to hurt them. But they still have the power to change shape. Daniel asks Madeline, "What do these Watchers want from us, and why do they watch us every night?" Madeline explains, "These Watchers want to leave the jungle and live among humans again. But they cannot live among humans in their original form. That's why they have kept us here, so that they can see us, take our form, and learn the ways of today's world from us to live among humans." Madeline was explaining all this when suddenly all the Watchers returned. And when the Watchers find out that Madeline and Mina have returned to their room, they get furious and start trying to break the door. These four drag the table and place it against the door so that the Watchers cannot break it. But the Watchers were quite strong, and these four knew that the Watchers would soon enter, and they could see death right before their eyes. Then they saw that the carpet had flipped because they dragged the table to the door. When they removed the carpet, they saw a large iron gate underneath. They quickly opened the gate and found that there was a very large bunker below. They quickly went inside the bunker and closed the iron gate from above. They were worried that this bunker was present here, and they didn't even know about it. This bunker had many facilities. There was food for thousands of days, a computer, and many other necessary items. Mina wanted to know who built this place, so she turns on the computer. A lot of data was saved in that computer. Opening it, they find out that this whole place was built by Professor Martin. Actually, the professor knew about these creatures. He wanted to research these Watchers. That's why he built this bunker. He would bring other humans here for work by tempting them with money and hide here himself. leaving the workers in the room above at night, and the Watchers would then eat those humans. In the next video, Dr. Martin tells them that during his research, he found a very different fairy who could also come out of those pits in the light. The doctor says that the Watcher had taken the perfect form of a small girl that no one could recognize. She was very good. She did not kill Dr. Martin. Dr. Martin brought her here. Then the professor turned the camera to the other side. Then they saw that the professor had caged the creature, who was in the form of a small girl. They didn't know what experiment the doctor was going to perform on her. There were many videos on that computer, and each video explained something. Mina just wanted to know what happened in the end. So, she plays the very last video, in which she sees that the professor is going to kill himself and that fairy. Before dying, he tells the people trapped in this jungle the way out of here, and says that running in the direction in which the birds flee in the evening can get them out of this jungle. In this recorded message, he said, "If anyone succeeds in escaping this jungle, go to the university and destroy all my research. I made a big mistake by coming here." After that, the professor went upstairs, and then 2 gunshots were heard, which made them understand that the professor first killed that fairy and then shot himself. Well, tonight, these 4 were very happy because they found a way to save their lives from this jungle. The final twist, the next morning, everyone comes out of the bunker and sees that their safe house has been completely destroyed by those Watchers. And today, they must get out of this jungle, or they will be killed because they no longer have a room to hide in at night. They now start moving on the path to escape the jungle. The birds that the professor was talking about were supposed to fly in the evening, but they had to get out of the jungle before evening. So Mina frees the parrot she had with her. They start walking in the direction the parrot flies. While walking, they found a grave. Madeline looks at the grave and says that there was a time when these people lived with humans. But humans did very bad things to them, betrayed them, and trapped them here in the jungles, and left themselves. After traveling for several hours, they reached a river. They were very happy to see the professor's boat there. But their happiness was short-lived, because it was now dark, and it was time for the Watchers to come. Before they could get into Dr. Martin's boat and get away from here, they heard someone's voice from behind. When they turned around, it was Kiara's husband calling for help. He was badly injured. Everyone else was already in the boat, so Daniel alone went to help him. Daniel started pulling Kiara's husband towards the boat. But then, from the boat, they see that the person Daniel went to help was not a human, but a Watcher who took on Daniel's form right in front of them. They could do nothing. Now that Watcher killed Daniel, they knew that the Watchers could not cross this river. And finally, they themselves crossed this river and reached the city. The real twist came after this. After reaching the city, the 3 of them went their separate ways. After a few days, Mina quickly came to Dr. Martin's university to destroy all his data, as per his instructions. Before she could delete his research data, she found a tape recorder, and from that tape recorder, Mina learned a new secret. When humans and fairies lived together thousands of years ago, they also used to marry. The children born from the union of humans and fairies had qualities of both humans and fairies. They were called halflings. One specialty of those halflings was that they were so skilled at changing shape that they could even take the form of a dead person. The professor believed that when humans trapped the fairies inside pits in the jungle, halflings secretly started living among humans by changing their form, and they still exist among humans in some form or the other. When Mina came to the professor's office and started investigating there, she found some pictures that shocked her. She saw that the lady standing with the professor in the picture was none other than Madeline, and Madeline was actually the professor's wife. She gets confused as to why Madeline didn't tell her these things. To share this confusion, she goes to Kiara and tells her that the Madeline they met in the jungle was actually Professor Martin's wife. But she didn't tell us this truth because she herself was not a human, but a shape-shifting fairy. When I did research, I found out that many years ago, the professor's wife, Madeline, died of cancer. Hearing this, Kiara asks, "Then who was that Madeline who was with us for so long?" Mina says, "I understand everything. The professor was very sad about his wife's death and wanted her back at any cost. And when the professor found out about these shape-shifting fairies, the professor caged that shape-shifting fairy who came to him in the perfect form of a child. The professor showed that fairy a photo of his wife and made her look like his wife, Madeline, because that fairy was different from the other fairies. She could also come out in the day." Mina says, "I have called Madeline here. We must somehow send her back to the jungle." Just then, a car stops there. When the person who got out of that car, Mina's breath caught in her throat. It was Kiara. This means that the person who was with Mina all this time was Madeline. She had taken Kiara's form. As Kiara entered the house, Madeline, in the form of Kiara's husband, knocked her unconscious. Mina asks Madeline, "What do you want?" Madeline angrily says, "I am the most unique creature among the fairies. All my companions used to tease me since childhood. They wouldn't let me stay with them because I was different. I was left alone in that jungle, and I wanted to get out of that jungle and live with people outside. Then, one day, the professor came to that jungle. He caged me. He told me that if I took the form of his wife, he would take me out of the jungle. I agreed to him. The professor taught me everything about Madeline, and later, that deceitful professor tried to kill me. But before he could kill me, I killed him. You humans have never been trustworthy, and you never will be. Now you also know my truth. That's why you have to die too. And after killing you, I will live among humans in your form." Saying this, Madeline took Mina's form and started strangling her. Then Mina tells Madeline, "Did the professor not tell you why you can come out in the day? Actually, you are a hybrid, half human and half fairy. That's why you can live among humans and fairies." I know what it's like to be alone in the world, but you are not the only halfling. There are other halflings like you who are living among humans in some form or the other. As soon as she learned this truth, Madeline's body suddenly started returning to its original form. Her wings grew, after which she left Mina here and flew away. After this, a scene from a few weeks later is shown. Mina is living with her sister. She tells her sister that maybe that fairy is still following her. Then Mina's sister tells her not to be scared, and that nothing like that is happening. And at the end of the story, we see a small girl standing below Mina's house. This was none other than Madeline, who is now living in their world in that form. And with this, the story ends.